An end-of-summer Sunday morning. The morning after. The 16-year-old girl wakes up at a strange house. The scene of the crime, a basement rec room, couches, a dollhouse, and other playthings, where boys not much more than children themselves used a girl like a toy. The 16-year-old who lives there later describes the morning to police.
And when I came back downstairs there, I started to wake up.
Okay.
And that's when she started to put her clothes back on. And
what was she saying when she was putting her clothes back on?
nothing really. I feel like she was still kind of drunk when she woke up.
How did she seem that morning when you guys all woke up?
She was fine. Just the only thing that she was really looking for was her phone.
Her phone's missing, her underwear are missing, her shoes are missing, her earrings are missing. She doesn't know where she's at. It's scary.
For the girl, something else is missing. The past 12 hours. The night before is a black hole. She finds out what happened when the whispering begins on the web.
In this case, the victim continued to suffer because she was really victimized in the social media.
The twist that makes every parent shudder, teenagers of Stubenville, including incredibly Trent Mays, exhibit not concern, but scorn. Passing pictures of Jane naked and motionless. One boy sends a text, "She looks dead." Another says, "You should have moved her around and gotten a better angle." Anne Choquette is the editor-in-chief of 17 magazine.
They live in a fishbowl on purpose. Every single thing that's happening all day long, they want to share it with their friends.
There's no filter.
There's no filter.
Alerted to the online chatter about their daughter, Jane Doe's worried parents go to the police. As the incident draws increased attention, Mays tells a witness, "Listen, if she gets questioned, she was real drunk and we let her stay at your house and took care of her." In the days after, Jane has chilling text exchanges with Trent Mays. "Why were my clothes off?" she asks. "I was passed out. You should have protected me. Anyone with a heart would have tried to stop that." Trent tells her he is truly sorry, but he adds, "Like I'm about to get kicked off my football team."
Many people have said that they were protected in this community for a while because of their status as members of this football team.
What happened that night, though, was not about football. What happened that night is about arrogance, disregard for other human beings.
Police tapes show Big Red football coach Reno Sokoch, a celebrity here, found out something had happened before the police did. He says he questioned the suspects at football practice that Monday.
And I said, "Did you rape her?" They said no. I said, "Did you her?" They said no. That was the end of it. That was it.
In a text, Trent tells one of the boys, "I got Reno. He took care of it. Ain't gonna happen even if they did take it to court." Coach Reno says another player came to him before a preliminary hearing.
I said, "Just tell the truth." He said, "I will." He said, "And don't answer anything that they don't ask you. If they ask you, when did this start, and tell them when it started. If they ask you when, you know what I mean? I was trying to say, just answer the question and answer it as truthfully as you can."
Asked to comment, Coach Reno Sokoch tells 2020 he looks forward to giving his version of events, but he says that must happen at the appropriate time. And what about that river of booze, the underage drinking? Where are the adults? Where are the parents?
The whole story, as we've unraveled it and learned it, is just very disturbing. Where were the parents?
It's a wake-up call. It's an absolute wake-up call.
Many here saying the real question is what's going on everywhere with kids and cell phones and sex.
When you get your cell phone, it doesn't come with a user's manual. They think this sounds fun. Absolutely. It's hard enough to teach teenagers about consequences, but this is one place where the consequences can be really damaging.
In court, all that technology becomes a double-edged sword. Jane Doe's attorney is Bob Fitzsimmons.
We only know something happened because of tweets and instant messages and cell phone pictures and videos that were taken that night.
It was these boys and their friends that actually created their own evidence against them. If it had not been for that, this crime may have gone unpunished.
A key factor the prosecutors must prove just how drunk Jane was. How drunk do you have to be legally before you are unable to give consent?
By the law in Ohio, you have to be substantially impaired.
What does that mean, though?
The case law makes it clear that it's a reduction in one's ability to act or think. Clearly, in this case, we had that reduction in the ability to act or think by the time she gets to the second party, and they had to have known it.
The unforgettable moment in the trial, Jane takes the stand to relive a night she can't remember. And the prosecutors shocked their own witness, showing her a photograph recovered from Trent May's cell phone.
She'd never seen it. Nobody had sent it to her. We had never shown it to her.
Laying on the floor?
Yeah. I mean, her reaction in the courtroom was all telling.
She burst into tears.
Right. Because it was degrading and humiliating, and to know that there's another picture out there.
The fast-moving trial seems to assure a speedy end to Stubenville's season of shame.
Both of these defendants could have been tried in the adult court.
I mean, if they were adults, they'd be going for up to 11 years into Ohio's prisons. They've already gotten a huge break.
A huge break, but also their last. In a Stubenville courtroom on Sunday, the verdict.
And it is the court's decision that both of the defendants are hereby adjudicated delinquent beyond a reasonable doubt on all 3 counts as charged. It's similar to a finding of guilty in the adult court.
It provokes an outpouring of emotion. After the verdict, before sentencing the boys, who are now felons, the judge gives them an opportunity to speak. Trent Mays makes no mention of the rape he's just been convicted of, instead apologizing for the photos.
I would truly like to apologize to our family, my family, and the community. No picture should have been sent around, let alone even taken.
Malik Richmond responds very differently.
I would like to apologize to you kids. I had no intention to do anything like that. I'm sorry to put you guys through this. That is not...
His first instinct was, I want to speak to that family, and he apologized in a way, unless he's a great actor, you have to say was genuine. I watched the 2 boys in court, and it was actually hard. I could feel for them.
Jane Doe's attorney, Bob Fitzsimmons, says the girl's mother had planned to stay outside the courtroom during the verdict.
And when she saw what happened and the emotions with the 2 defendants, she actually wanted to come in because they were apologizing to her and the family, and she wanted to accept that.
Does she forgive him?
She does.
That says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Only the prosecutors, it seems, were not moved.
The way we viewed the emotion, and we would have liked to have seen that on the night of August 12th. A little bit of compassion for another human being.
In the end, the judge sentenced Malik Richmond to 1 year for rape. Trent Mays got a year for rape and another year for those nude photos he took of Jane Doe. But in a city eager for closure, the healing will have to wait. Within hours of the verdict, Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine jolts the community, announcing a grand jury will consider widening the case.
We cannot bring finality to this matter without the convening of a grand jury.
What are the chances other people will be in fact indicted in this whole sordid story?
I owe it to the Stubenville community really to get this over with as quickly as we can. But at the same time, I understand that the community has to feel that justice was done.
Are you going to look into charging parents with failing to supervise these kids?
I'm not going to say the parents will face charges. I'm not going to say they won't face charges.
But that does include the football coach.
That would include anybody who has had any information about what occurred that night.
The Ohio law seems pretty clear. If you know about a felony, you have an obligation, a duty to report it, right?
You have to actually have knowledge that this is a felony that is occurring.
So is it possible Trent Mays and Malik Richmond didn't even know they were committing rape? Is that why, in our pre-trial interview, with sincerity in his voice, Richmond told me this?
I realized that I was doing wrong by drinking and partying, but I really did not didn't rape anybody. I didn't witness a rape going on. And if I would have thought that somebody was being raped or anything like that, I would have stopped it.
Because that's been a lot of the criticism of the other boys in the case. Everybody was sort of laughing at her, but nobody was helping her.
I really just think that everybody was just had a few drinks in them and they wasn't really thinking.
Nobody was thinking clearly?
Yes, I think everybody was just out of their minds.
That may be the most troubling revelation of the whole case. The idea that some kids today are awash in a pornified social media world with nude cell phone photos and explicit texting, and may no longer know where that line is between cool and crime.
All these boys' cell phones and some of the girls' cell phones contain pictures of girls and boys in various states of undress. This is just part of teen culture these days. What teens don't understand is that there are real-world consequences for their online behavior. That once it's out there, you can't take it back.
The trial may be over, but the collateral damage continues. Michael Nodianos, who posted that heartless video, had a full-ride academic scholarship to college. He has now left school.
With some sober reflection, he is ashamed and embarrassed to hear them himself.
As for Jane Doe, she is ready to reclaim her real name and her life.
What can you tell me about Jane?
Jane's a nice, little, neat high school girl that is a young lady trying to have a good life and trying to move on with her life right now. She actually plays soccer, and she played this fall, and she made the honor roll, which we were very concerned that she wouldn't be able to concentrate as much, you know,
even in the midst of all this.
Even in the midst of this, yeah. So she did pretty well.
And before you know it, a new football season will be here. Another big game on Friday night. But as the hometown team takes the field and the crowds begin to cheer, all of us may do well to remember another night when the lights didn't shine so bright, and think of the girl who sends this message.
If there's one girl that doesn't have to go through this and that message gets through to some boy to step up and protect and to stop things like this, then we've really done well.